What's up, everybody? This is Mike here at Rogue Comics, and this is going to be a stream showing you guys the books that are dropping this Wednesday, August 21st. And there are some good books. There are some really good books. I haven't had a chance to read all of them because, unfortunately, it's not as bad as it used to be, where we would get the books on the day that they were supposed to come out, which means on Wednesday. And then we were always handcuffed by, whenever UPS would deliver the books. It was always a crapshoot. It's always fun. And then Diamond decided to do something, well, I should say the company that shall not be named, decided to do something where we had to pay, what was it, $4, $5 a week so we could get the books a day early. And apparently, allegedly, that money went towards secret shoppers to make sure that nobody was selling the books the day early. And that went on for God knows how long. That was an extra $20 a month. $20 a month, $240 a year for that, to get the books one day early. Now, I understand, especially in this day and age, there are people that love spoiling shit. I understand that. I get it. But it's going to get out there anyways. So you're really going to make store owners, one, pay $5 a week so they can get the books a day early, so they don't have to worry about running around and having to deal with files, having to put the books out, having all that stuff, because you're afraid somebody's going to leak something. Let me tell you something. There was this one time, DC used to have these things called retailer roadshows, and it was in New York. It was in the major metropolitan areas, and New York obviously is one of those. The best, of course. So I went to one of those. I think it was my second one, and I went with a customer who was coming to the store at the time, and we went down to Manhattan, and Dan DiDio and Jim Lee, because Jeff Johns never went to New York to do the presentation. Actually, I don't even think he went to many of those, but it was just mostly Dan and Jim. They did their presentation, and we got stuff signed, whatever else, we commiserated there, asked our questions and stuff like that. On the train ride back from Manhattan back to Connecticut, as we were riding on the train, I'm refreshing Bleeding Cool, and every single thing Dan and Jim were telling us was there on Bleeding Cool. And now, mind you, those of you that might not be familiar with Bleeding Cool, they're located in the UK, clear across the pond, and it's like, dude. So I don't know who it was. I don't know whether it was the company shall not be named, or maybe it was DC or Marvel, or the comic book companies or whatever it was, but they're worried about us spoiling shit, while a company or a publication, a website that is in the UK knows everything that people in the US have already just seen, and they're doing it. It was almost real time. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is some of the shit that we have to deal with as retailers. And to be honest with you, if I didn't like comic books, just the art of comics, whether not and I'm not speaking specifically about the art, but I'm talking about just the book itself, the way it's printed, sometimes some of the paper that it's on, whatever. If I didn't like that, I would not be doing this, because the shit that we have to deal with on a daily basis, whether it's UPS nonsense, FedEx nonsense, distributor nonsense, whatever, it's sometimes not worth the hassle. What makes it worth the hassle is this medium, is customers coming into the store, especially kids coming in for their first time in a comic book store. Stuff like that is what makes it worth it. Not dealing with this nonsense. Here's a good thing. Here's something that just happened. Now, this is going to sound like first world problems, and that's fine, but traditionally, the way it used to go, when New York Comic Con was going on, we would get passes, whether it was from the company that shall not be named, or Lunar last year was going to give retailers that went to their breakfast a 4-day pass. This year, they're giving us a 1-day pass, and we have the option of buying a 4-day pass for $125 or $150 or whatever it is. Now, you know what? No, never mind. I'm not even gonna continue with this line of dialogue. I'll just end it there. So I'm glad you're here. Let's get into why you're here. You're not here to hear me gripe. You're here to see exactly what is coming out. And as always, we're going to start with DC. And that's a really cool cover right there. World's Finest, issue number 30. And that, of course, is a Dan Mora cover, in case you were wondering. You really shouldn't, because it's right there on the cover. You can see it, like in his rendition of Wonder Woman, just, yeah. But apparently, as it says there, this is the Trinity's first adventure revealed. And, yeah. Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 5, facsimile. I have no problem with this. I mean, I'm glad they're reprinting this in bite-sized. Although I wish, honestly, and I always say this, they're making facsimiles. Like, when you buy this book, you see that little 50 in there? At the time, DC was celebrating its 50th anniversary. And if you look on the back cover, you're going to see an old, I believe it was for Frogger, if I remember correctly, an old ad for Frogger. Whatever it was, it's an old ad. It's no longer valid. So they facsimiled every single aspect of this book, with the exception of using the original newsprint paper. But they facsimiled everything except the price. So guys, facsimiles, Marvel, DC, when you're facsimiling this stuff, how about facsimiling the price? I mean, that'd be something that the buyers, the customers, the people that consume your product would probably appreciate, because I know I would appreciate it as a store owner. I mean, that way I would order a stack of these, because this is a book I wouldn't mind having hang around. George Perez, please, yes, Marv Wolfman, George Perez, right here. I mean, look at this. Look at this cover right here. He hand drew each and every person on this page, on this front cover. This wasn't a computer. This wasn't any. There's no digital artifacts in here or whatever. It's literally George Perez drawing, and this deserves to be seen. This is something that should never go out of print, and this is something that people should experience as a comic book. And the facsimile thing, which, you know, say what you will about it. I mean, I've already said that they should really facsimile the price too. Is that you see it the way it was originally presented, and I'm all for that all day, every day, as long as it's a book that deserves to be facsimiled. And they're reprinting all 12 issues of this, and I believe Marvel's doing the same thing with Secret Wars. So I'm good for both of those. Yes, continue to do that. Here we have Dark Knights of Steel, All Winter. This is issue number 2, and this art continues to get better. Like, it's better than issue number 1. And issue number 1 was good. Unfortunately, speaking of Mr. Perez, may he rest in peace, I'm almost positive the gentleman or lady who is drawing this book uses digital. So that I kind of have to lose points for, but I do. And sometimes, I mean, just because it is digital, I mean, it does help you cheat a little bit, but you do have to have some sort of style, like some sort of artistic ability to get something done on the tablet that the tablet has to work with. So I will give them that. I will give them that. But yes, this is a gorgeous book. Issue number 2 right there. Up next, we have Gotham City Sirens that I was ranting about last week until I found out that this is intended to be a weekly book, but I just wish that we would be able to see the book before we have to order all 4 issues before one issue drops. Because you know what? I mean, if it was Terry Dodson that was drawing it, I'd have a little more faith, you know, as you see his covers here. I don't remember. I think it's Lolly, I think is how you say the individual's name. It's not bad, but like I'm not comfortable. You know what I mean? Like if it was Perez or Art Adams or Frank Cho or, you know, any number of people I could point out that I like, then I'd be comfortable going all in, no pun intended. But yeah, so this is issue number 3, and there you go. Oh, I don't know why I did this one, but this is the Guillaume March variant cover. There were I think there were 2 versions of this. There was one that was a cardstock, and then there was another one that let me see if this has the what it's called. No, it doesn't. This is the cardstock variant. Yeah, so I don't know why this one's here, but that is it. It's a connecting cover. There's going to be 1 other ones, and there were 2 previous ones. So, and that gives us a number of 4. Green Lantern War Journal. This is the final issue of this 12-issue miniseries, and I like the art in this book. Mentos, I think is his name. Mantos. It's M, and I know the last two letters of the name are OS. So, but I do like it, and I hope they get more work because it's only going to get better, definitely. But yeah. And up next we have Jenny Sparks. Now this book is written by Tom King, with art by Jeff Spokes. Is that what it says there? Spokes, Spokes. I have to say, I liked both. I liked both the writing, and I did like the art. And I don't know too much about Jenny Sparks. I didn't read The Authority, and or was it Planetary? I always, for the life of me, always got Planetary and The Authority confused. I don't know why it is. I know like some of the characters in both of the teams, but I just never... I don't know. But check this book out. It was good. I definitely recommend it. Here we have Nightwing, issue number 117. Tom Taylor's wrapping up, and Bruno Redondo, is that his name there? Yes, that is his name, so he is handling the art on this. I didn't thumb through this, so I didn't see what it was, what it looked like, but this is part 4 of 5, so that would make this the penultimate issue. And I do dig this cover. Superman, number 17. 17, really? Is it really 17? Actually, I think it's more than 17. I wish DC would stop with this. I wish Marvel would stop with this too. Like this nonsense with these like random issues with numbers, and it's just it's very confusing, especially like what they did with Daredevil, what Marvel did with Daredevil with Chip Zdarsky's run. Like they stopped it at like issue 36 or 37, whatever it was, and then they started it again with number 1 and the same team, the same exact team. Like, granted, as retailers, we are supposed to be very helpful to our customers, and that's something that I try to do. But what if a customer didn't want our help? What if they decided they were going to go in there and do it on their own, and then they're trying to decipher what issue they should get to complete a run or something like that, and then they have issues from different runs? Like, it's ridiculous. Just stop this nonsense. There's better ways to promote this stuff than number 1s. Like, I don't know what it is, but this is by Williamson and Jamal Campbell. And here we go again, going back to this digital thing. Like, I don't know if Jamal's using more digital aspects, but his art doesn't look the way it did. I like the way it looked better. It looked more organic previously. This looked like you see on the cover here. I'm not sure if this is him doing the cover, but it looked digitally, and I didn't appreciate his art as much as I normally do, because I was very happy when he came back. But yeah, I just I don't know. Here we have Titans. This is issue number 14, and as you can see, Swamp Thing is going to make an appearance. I'm always down for that. And there's Trigon Triumphant. And last but not least, for DC, we have Wonder Woman. This is an Absolute Power tie-in. So it's Tom King, and it looks like it's going to be Tony Daniel. And this is issue number 12. And that is DC. Over at the MCU, we have Amazing Spider-Man. Speaking of facsimiles, here is the facsimile that Marvel's been doing. This has been a run they're doing. I don't exactly know why they specified this particular run. I mean, there's so many runs that they could use from Amazing Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm here for this. I mean, Charles Vess cover right there. Like, look at this. This is awesome. Here we have Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, issue number 2. This is a 4-issue miniseries, and that means that this is the halfway point for this. I actually looked through this and saw some of the story beats and stuff like that. This was actually intriguing. Here we have Deadpool issue number 5. And I do like it says, "Can you get Daddy's other arm?" Because yeah, Deadpool he goes through things in this issue, I should say. And let me tell you, it's oh geez, I forgot who's writing this. Ziegler, Cody. I think it's Cody Ziegler that's writing this. And I don't know if it's because of recency bias or whatever. Not recency bias, but recency. But I kept hearing Ryan Reynolds like voice as I was reading, like especially like he captured the cadence of Ryan Reynolds in the definitely in the final pages when he's talking to Taskmaster. Then we have Get Fury. This is issue number 4, and this is a 6-issue miniseries. Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance. This is issue number 6. It also happens to be the final issue, and this is a pretty cool cover right there. Giant Size Thor. This is continuing this has been going on for a while now. Giant Size 50th issues, and this one is written by Al Ewing. I don't know who did the art. I don't remember the gentleman's name or the lady's name, but the art in here is really good. So, yeah, I approve. Miles Morales, Spider-Man Annual. I did not know this was an annual until I looked on the front and then saw in the upper left-hand corner that it said annual there. But let me tell you, I'm not a Miles Morales fan. I don't dislike him. I like him in the movies more than I do in the comics. But this was a pretty good issue. It was the art was by Javier Garron, and I forgot who did the backup story. But I liked how Puerto Rican it was. There's just I appreciated there was little things here and there, Puerto Rican flag, alcapurrias, stuff like that. I'm not sure how I feel about him being a vampire, though. Oh, and there's also some guest appearances by individuals that you will see. I will not spoil here. But he is still a vampire. So, yeah. I don't know how long that's going to be. And apparently, after the events of... oh my god, I can't even remember the name of the event. The Blood Hunt. After the events of Blood Hunt, apparently vampires, they're all like Blade now. They can go out during the daytime, so that's why you see Miles here sitting in front of the sunlight. Oh, I didn't even notice. See, I'm talking about Puerto Rico. There's a Puerto Rican flag right above him. Here we have Namor issue number 2. I think I'm going to wait for all 8 issues before I finish it, but I don't know, maybe not. Jason Aaron's writing this. I don't know who's drawing it, but I did like the art. Phoenix issue number 2 is right here. And as you see, the Starjammers are going to be showing up, or at least one of them. Corsair. Predator versus Black Panther number 1. Now, how can I say this? This was a really good issue. I enjoyed it. I'm glad to see T'Challa in the MCU. Shuri's there, Wakanda. The Dora Milaje. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say about that. I'm just going to leave it there. But you should pick this one up. Scarlet Witch, issue number 3. Russell Dowderman is doing the art on some of this because it's him and someone else. And yeah, I wanna see Russell do more stuff. Like he has to start doing some other things. Here we have a second printing for Spider-Man Reign 2 by Carrie Andrews. Spider-Woman issue number 10 is right here. This also is the final issue of Spider-Woman. And actually, you know what? I was going to say something about this, but I'm going to save it for later. But yeah, this is the final issue for that. Here we have Star Wars issue number, I'm assuming it's 49. It's got to be 49 because it's the penultimate issue because it's ending with number 50. And yeah, Luke still has a yellow lightsaber. Ahsoka, number 1. This is the second printing of number 1, and this cover here was also the foil variant that they did. Ken Lashley, I believe, is the one that did this. I could be wrong. Where is it? Nope, it is Ken Lashley. Here we have Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures, issue number 9. Wow. Ultimate Spider-Man, number 8, which continues to bring customers into the store. Like they're on issue number 8 and I still have new customers coming in looking for this Jonathan Hickman book. This book is written by Jonathan Hickman. And unlike other channels that are on YouTube or other people's sons' channels where all they do is spout propaganda regarding DC and against Marvel, that's not something we do here, sir. So yeah, you have the wrong channel. But this is issue number 8, written by Jonathan Hickman. Okay. So, if you watched last week's stream, you saw how impressed I was with the Venom War Spider-Man tie-in, even though it was written by two people that, I know who they are, but I'm not really impressed. I don't really like, oh my god, it's McKay and whoever, not McKay, it wasn't McKay, it was, see, I don't even remember. That's how I was like, okay, whatever, but the art was by Greg Land, who I'm not really a fan of, but both of those things worked. Like, that issue was really, really good. Now, this issue here, I did not read. However, I did look at the art, and the art is by Pere Perez, and the art is phenomenal in here. Like, they need to give him a book and not let it be one of these symbiote books, because I am so not a fan of symbiotes. Like, I'm just not. Like, put him on a good book. Put him on a good book, please. And mind you, this is only going to be a 3-issue thing, but get him on a book. Get him on a significant book. Put him on an X book. Put him on a proper. Give him Amazing Spider-Man. There you go. That's what I'm going to say. Give him Amazing Spider-Man when y'all reboot it, because you're going to. Give him Amazing Spider-Man. Okay? If I was editor of Marvel, this is what would happen. He would be drawing Amazing Spider-Man. But I'm not, so that's not what's going to happen. But this is issue number 1, and the Venom War is continuing, and there will be 3 issues. And then there's also this, Venom War Venomous, with Black Widow as with a symbiote. And as always, see, okay, you're talking about Marvel propaganda. Well, you know what, Nerdman? Every stream that I do with these releases, I always start with DC. Always. Okay? So, there is no Marvel propaganda. And you've already missed the DC stuff. So, late as always. But yes, this is featuring Black Widow. And there you see Flash Thompson, Anti-Venom. Or whatever name they gave him. I'm pretty sure it's still Anti-Venom, I think. But, yeah. And last but not least, a book that I hope is going to accomplish what Ultimate Spider-Man has done and get asses in the store. This is Wolverine Revenge, and it's written by the aforementioned Jonathan Hickman with art by Greg Capullo. And I'm not exactly sure on the timeline as far as this is concerned, but there's a major surprise in here in this issue, and hopefully nobody spoiled it online. I'm sure somebody has, because they like doing things like that, or coming into streams talking about Marvel propaganda. But that's not what happened here, and I don't. If you can avoid it for another 2 days, just do it, because it was completely surprising when the thing happened, and I'm going to leave it at that. But this issue, fantastic. There's 2 versions. There's this regular version, and then there's this red band version, which is bagged. And I'm sure it contains a little more blood, just a bit, just a smidge more. And I would also strongly suggest getting the red band version if you have to choose between the two. Go with the red band, definitely. And Hosea, going after Nerdman is like picking on the kid that walks slowly or something like that. You just it's too easy. It's too easy. Like you just don't do it. You just don't do it. You're just like, yeah, okay, you're Nerdman. We'll let you go. Go about your business. But yes, I would strongly suggest picking this book up, Wolverine Revenge. And yes, there's also a poster for this cover here that's out there, so if you can find it. And that is it for Marvel. This week in Independence, there really isn't too much, as usual. Or at least too much that I get, because, to be honest with you, the majority of the stuff that I sell are Marvel and DC. Marvel's number 1, DC would be a distant number 2, and then the Independence is after that. Before the pandemic, Image was really close to DC, and then the pandemic happened, and they just fell back, and that was it. But from Image, we have Blood Squad 7 right here. This is issue number 4, and this is written by Joe Casey. Here we have Destro, issue number 3. This is a 5-issue miniseries. This is cover A. Now, normally I don't do variant covers. I've stopped doing the variant covers. Although, to be honest with you, this week I was like, maybe I'll just throw some variants in there or something. But then I was like, no, I'll just do the basic stuff. But yeah, this is issue number 3, cover A, and this is issue number 3, cover B. This one is by Carl Kerschel. I think that's how you say his name, who's done like a lot of Superman stuff for DC, and I do like this cover, so I was like, you know what, screw it. I mean, there isn't too much independent stuff, so I would just throw it there. But here we have Disney's Frozen. This is a trade paperback, and I guess there's a couple issues in here. This is by Paper Cut, as you can see on the bottom there on the cover. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, is finally out. Larry Hama and Paul Pelletier is doing the art, but Chris Mooneyham is coming back, and I can't tell you how happy I am about this. And this is an Andy Kubert cover right here. Mad Magazine. Now, this, if I remember correctly, is not the cover for this week's, or this month's Mad Magazine, I should say. But yeah, I wish I could. I see the cover in my head, but I can't remember the details or what it was about. But it was something that was timely. I don't know if it... Oh, I think it might have had to do with Alien. It wasn't like this. This is like, Close Encounters-esque, obviously, with the alien in the middle there. Hold on. How early do you get... Well, Hosea, depends on UPS. DC, sometimes I get on Fridays, and Marvel, I usually get on Mondays. But again, it all depends. It's not necessarily a set thing. As long as it's not on Wednesdays, dude, because Wednesdays, it's just it's a major pain in the ass. I saw you spoke about Dark Knights of Steel. I was so into it until they ruined it and made Batman Kryptonian. Spoiler alert, Nerdman, because there might be some people out there who didn't read. But mind you, this happened in the previous minis, because this isn't the first one. But yeah, left you like, but you don't accept them. What are you talking about? Accept them? I have 2 likes. What are you talking about? I accept likes. I mean, I don't sit here and like, oh, please like and subscribe and all that stuff. Like, I hope people do, but I'm not gonna bully them into doing it or whatever. I'm appreciative, but I'm not gonna like that whole shtick. It's just tiresome, and I don't want to do that. If you like it and you choose to do it of your own volition, I appreciate you. If you don't, that's fine. You're watching it, and I'm good with that. I know the algorithm isn't, because apparently there's the algorithm and you gotta bow before it, but, whatever. The people that want to watch me are going to watch me. The people that don't, then they're just not. Man, I'm fine with that. Here we have Nightclub 2. This is issue number 1. Mark Millar is no longer at Image. He's now at Dark Horse. And this is Nightclub 2. Here we have Paranoid Gardens, number 2. This is written by Gerard Way. And there's another dude, I can't see it. Sean Simon. And but Gerard Way is from the lead singer from My Chemical Romance. And he's also a protege of Grant Morrison. Now, I'm not necessarily the biggest Morrison fan, but anybody that can learn from Morrison and then filter it through something that's not as annoying as Morrison, then I'm all there for that. And Gerard did some good stuff with Umbrella Academy, of course, obviously, and some of the Young Animal stuff that he did. So, but this one had Chris Weston's art, and I like Chris Weston, so I mean, this was like a win-win for me. And this is number 2. Now, I don't know how many. I don't know if this has got to be a miniseries, but I don't know how many issues. It doesn't say. Otherwise, I would let you know. Here we go. Now, this one, I don't know what this is, and I honestly don't even remember ordering it, but I'm glad I did because I like Scott Collins' art, and this looks unique. And it's only 4 issues, and I can't wait to read this. I thumbed through it. There's a cover. There's a B cover. I was going to leave that too by Frank Avila, but I didn't. I see it here. I didn't do it. But I'm disappointed about that. But I can't wait to read this because, yeah, looks good. I like it. Here we have Redcoat. This is issue number 5. Brian Hitch, Jeff Johns, and Brian Hitch cover 2, and Brad Anderson. But yeah. Hosea said, love My Chemical Romance. Same. And last but not least, this is the final book of the week. And now, this is also an independent, because obviously we're in the independent section. However, this book that I'm about to show you, this is number 1 of 4. But if you come into my store and buy any book, doesn't matter, Marvel, DC, independent, whatever, you will get this book, Something Crawled Out, for free. Free of charge. That's it. And the art in here, as you can see on the cover looks pretty good. The art in here is really good. Sometimes retailers trying to boost sales and stuff like that, other channels that are on YouTube call them like gimmicks or whatever, and of course they're trying to get more readers. Like, why not? Like, there was someone that did a video about how Marvel was giving us free copies of the X-Men, like, hey, this is how bad it is, or something like that. I'm like, that's not what it's called. Sometimes they overship a book because they want us. They're trying to help out retailers, like whether it's like, giving us more copies of something that we could sell for a profit or something. Like why are you bitching and moaning, dude? Like, how does it affect you at all? I just okay. Anyways, yes. Walk into my store, and I'm sure other stores, hopefully, maybe other stores are doing this, but in my store, any purchase you want this, you get it. That's it. And as you can see, it's kind of horror-esque, sort of, kind of. I mean, they are opening that chest up there, and that, yeah. It's I remember I did look at the preview, like when it was first solicited, like about 2 months ago, but I haven't seen it since, so I don't recall all of the facts about it. I do know though that the art was good. I was impressed by the art. So even if like, I wasn't able to give this book away for free, I still would have ordered it from my store. So that is it. As I said, that was the final book. We are at the end, and as you see, some covers. I usually, with this here, what I do is I pick out some of the covers that I like during the week, and so you have something to look at while I ramble towards the end and say, hey, that's the link to get in touch with me there, direct.me. Now, I don't know if it's my antivirus or something, but for some reason it was, let's see if it's still doing it, or if they fixed, nope, they fixed it. Okay, never mind. Forget what I was going to say, because they fixed it, but it was just coming up as a like a antivirus thing or something like that. But it's all there. There's links to the store's Instagram. There's links to TikTok. There's links to the YouTube channel that you're watching now. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Snapchat, which I don't really use too much. And there's also you can also see the latest video, which will be this, that's on there. And the top, you can press the button and call the store. So it is all there. I don't like Linktree, and everybody does it, so I'd rather do something that everybody doesn't do. But yeah. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and as always, please have a great new comic book day wherever you might be.